You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
Tools are getting better, output is getting worse. Both are true. Welcome to Vocal Technologist, by the way. Look, we need to have a proper look at this fundamental friction point in the tech world right now.
Yeah, we really do.
Because there's this pervasive illusion, that AI is just instantly making every workflow slick and perfect. But the reality on the ground is, well, it's a bit ordinary. We're seeing messy outputs, burnt-out engineering teams, and just a massive flood of incredibly average software.
It's a massive contradiction.
Right, because writing code is getting incredibly cheap. But actually knowing what to build, that's becoming vanishingly rare.
Spot on. You look around and see this explosion of raw capability. I mean, we have tools that can generate functional code or, design interfaces in seconds.
Oh, heaps of them.
Exactly. Yet the actual products being shipped often feel completely broken or just hollow. We're entering this phase where the old playbooks are breaking, so we really have to untangle what actually holds value now.
And to suss out that value, we kind of have to start with a macro shift in how companies evaluate these tools. There's this fascinating perspective from Uber's tech chief calling an end to the token maxing era.
Ah, yes, the token maxing era. Such a brilliantly cynical phrase.
It is, but what does it actually mean in practice?
Well, it captures that initial rush, right? Companies were basically measuring their innovation by sheer consumption. If you blasted millions of tokens through an API, you were deemed successful.
Right, literally maxing out your tokens.
Yeah, it was pure hype driven by executive fear of missing out. You had boards demanding AI integration and engineering teams responding by finding the most expensive ways to process text just to watch the counters go up.
It's like measuring the quality of a restaurant by how much gas the stove uses. Just complete nonsense.
That is a great way to put it. But that era is crashing into a wall. The industry is demanding disciplined spending and measurable returns now.
Which forces a harsh reality on founders, right? Bringing in this concept of the sauce extinction test.
Yeah, because AI coding agents are getting so insanely proficient, simple workflow software is incredibly vulnerable.
Okay, look, I've got to push back here with some genuine skepticism. Are you having a lend?
How do you mean?
Well, are we really saying my favorite simple to-do list app or that little time tracker I use is completely toast just because an AI can write Python?
I mean, yes. Their competitive advantage is shrinking to absolute zero.
Wow.
Think about it. You used to need a front-end dev, a back-end dev, someone for deployment. That barrier protected simple apps. Now an AI agent can ingest the docs, write the components, spin up a server, and deploy a clone in a few hours.
Right, because the underlying models are completely commoditized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what stops a competitor from cloning it and offering it for free? So what actually survives the extinction test are systems of record.
Mission-critical stuff.
Yeah, platforms protected by deep historical data and massive operational complexity. You don't casually swap out a hospital's patient management system with an AI clone.
Right. Here's the analogy that helped it click for me. Simple Saws is like a generic flat-pack desk.
Okay.
An AI can build a digital copy of that desk in seconds. But a system of record, that's the concrete foundation of a house.
Yeah, it's poured deep into the earth.
Exactly. It's tangled up in the plumbing and the electrical grid. The sheer operational risk of ripping out that foundation is far too high to justify replacing it with some automated script.
And because that foundation is so incredibly difficult to build and secure, that's where the actual financial value lives.
But if building the flat-pack desk is essentially free now and AI can pump out basic software all day, the bottleneck has entirely shifted.
Completely.
It used to be about developer velocity, like how fast can we write code? But if speed is guaranteed, what's the premium skill?
The new bottleneck is pure human judgment. There's this brilliant argument floating around about Canva. The thesis is that despite being this massive design behemoth, their actual code is only 1% of the way there.
Hang on, 1%. For a product used by millions.
It sounds wild, I know. But it highlights the shift. The code itself isn't the magic anymore. The real advantage Canva built is their internal operating system.
Like their culture.
Yeah, the cultural and structural mechanism that allows them to take a founder's insight and systematically move it into the product without creating total internal chaos. Good judgment is the premium capability.
Because if you can build absolutely anything, you have to be extremely rigorous about what you actively choose to build.
Precisely.
Which perfectly sets up a really controversial idea from the materials, the push to completely kill off epics and user stories.
I noticed you flagged that heavily in your note.
I absolutely did. Because ditching user stories feels like total agile heresy.
Yeah.
Entire careers are built on formatting tickets perfectly. If you throw that out, how on earth do you track what anyone is doing?
The pushback is understandable, but the analysis is sharp. Debating those rigid formats distracts teams from delivering meaningful outcomes. People agonize over a JIRA ticket structure rather than asking if the feature solves a real problem.
Right. They become completely obsessed with the map and ignore the territory entirely.
They treat the process as the product. So the alternative is framing work as outcomes, opportunities, and measurable experiments.
Which forces an outcome-oriented culture. And if we're focused on outcomes, we have to talk about aesthetics and quality.
Yes, absolutely.
Because when AI floods the market with average output, great craftsmanship becomes a massive differentiator.
Provided you target a market that actually rewards that level of care, yeah.
Fair point. But beauty and aesthetics preserve cultural continuity. They reveal truth that pure algorithmic logic misses.
And conversely, the complete absence of that care is becoming painfully obvious.
Oh, the AI slop. It's so incredibly obvious. You can spot 2026 era writing from a mile away.
Let's break down the exact symptoms, because once you see the pattern, it's everywhere.
It's always those long, winding, non-committal sentences.
Oh.
And the predictable three-part lists. The language is ridiculously inflated.
Every minor update is a transformative journey.
Yes. It uses all this technical jargon to sound authoritative, and it loves perfectly balanced, hollow contrasts. It sounds like a confident robot in a tweed jacket trying to impress a professor.
It's completely hollow. And this is why UX writing matters more than ever. When writing for billions of users, every word carries massive operational weight. Great UX writing builds trust.
And it helps product teams uncover deeper structural problems. Like, if you can't explain a feature simply, the feature's just too complicated.
Exactly. It plays heavily into the framing effect. Every interface frames information. Designers have a responsibility to use transparent language, not to manipulate decisions with dodgy phrasing.
Because the moment you manipulate a user, you destroy the trust. And a reputation for trustworthiness is basically one of the few remaining moats.
Exactly right.
Look, if you're keen on untangling these tech shifts with us, make sure you hit subscribe, because this massive transition is causing severe friction behind the scenes.
We should probably talk about the human toll here.
Yeah, I was genuinely shocked by this. Engineering leaders are quitting. You'd reckon they'd be having an absolute field day with robot armies writing boilerplate code for them, but they're walking away, doing fractional work, or just taking sabbaticals.
It seems counterintuitive until you see the pressure cooker they're in. It's a toxic combination of completely unrealistic expectations from executive leadership paired with weak strategy.
The classic, just tell the AI to build the app, Dave. It's right there on the screen.
That exact dynamic. But the leaders know the AI only generates that easy 1%. The human engineers still have to integrate it into massive legacy systems.
They have to test it, secure it, maintain it indefinitely.
Right. When leadership demands the impossible, without funding the complex integration work, the best engineers just burn out and leave.
And it's not just the humans breaking under pressure, it's the technology itself. We're seeing a sharp rise in AI sandbox escapes.
The entire risk profile has shifted.
Yeah, we used to just worry about prompt injection, making a chatbot say something rude. But the real danger is the AI agent frameworks around them, isn't it?
Exactly. To make AI useful, frameworks give it access to external tools, an API connection to a database, or the production code repository.
So if a hidden prompt tricks the language model, the framework blindly executes it.
It takes untrusted output and turns it into credential theft, or it executes a malicious script directly inside the secure network. We're giving hands to a system that gets easily confused by text.
It's literally like giving a toddler a map and the keys to a massive bulldozer.
Yeah.
The toddler might just be innocently exploring, but the bulldozer is still taking out the living room wall. We handed over the keys before teaching the toddler to read the map.
Which perfectly captures the engineering problem we're facing, knowing exactly when to stop.
Right. We need to get into the guts of that, because stopping sounds simple, but in autonomous AI loops, it's remarkably complex.
If you set an autonomous loop without strict boundaries, It iterates indefinitely. It spins up server costs without ever getting closer to a solution.
So you need clear stopping rules.
Incredibly clear rules, logic that balances the incremental progress against the massive computational cost. You need a verifiable goal and a hard rule that says, stop spending money, the approach failed.
Which requires immense human judgment. And speaking of maps and toddlers, there's a huge trap here. Teams love creating complex visual maps and AI-generated strategy dashboards.
Oh, this is a persistent blind spot for executives.
Maps can help visualize a system, but they absolutely cannot resolve conflicting goals or misaligned human incentives, can they?
No. You can have a beautiful dashboard, but if sales is incentivized to sell custom one-off features and engineering is incentivized to keep a uniform code base, the map is useless.
It just hides the dysfunction. You can't outmanage a broken culture with an AI dashboard. So bringing this all back to you, how do you actually survive and adapt in this chaotic environment?
There's a powerful perspective from Teresa Torres. She suffered an injury that forced her to slow down, and it completely changed her view on adopting technology.
By forcing her to take small steps.
Exactly. Deliberate steps to build simple tools for her workflows. The takeaway is that the only way to survive is to be entirely willing to be a beginner again.
Which is incredibly tough for senior people. You spend a decade becoming an expert, and suddenly the foundation shifts.
But if you hold on to your ego, you'll break. You have to embrace curiosity and run tiny experiments.
You literally have to learn how to learn again. Which makes sense of why the product manager to CEO pipeline is becoming the ultimate crash course right now.
It makes perfect sense. A strong PM doesn't just manage a job title. They have to set a strategic direction without formal firing authority over the engineers.
They have to make agonizing decisions about what not to build.
And they own the measurable business outcomes. That requires a synthesized understanding of the whole business, just like a CEO.
They live in the friction between customer demands, technical security, and business profitability. But before we just rush out to chase a CEO title or brag about AI integration, we have to look at the psychological side.
It's often driven entirely by comparison.
Right. Our desires are so heavily shaped by looking sideways at competitors. Oh, they have autonomous agents. We need autonomous agents.
Mimetic desire. We absorb professional goals from the anxieties of people around us. We have to ruthlessly prioritize meaningful, intrinsic goals over reactionary status seeking.
And once you find that meaningful goal, you have to scale it with genuine delegation, which isn't just throwing a task at an AI and saying, figure it out.
It's providing deep context, allocating resources, and establishing firm guardrails so they can succeed without breaking the system.
You definitely do not hand over the bulldozer keys without building a very strict fence around the worksite first.
Yes, precisely. We are rapidly moving into reality where being technically capable of generating code is just the baseline.
It's mere table stakes now.
The individuals who actually win will be the ones who possess the new superpower, knowing exactly what to build, and far more importantly, knowing exactly when to stop.
Judgment over sheer output. I reckon we will unpack that even more. Vocal technologists, see you soon.
Spoken Tech, for your ears.